So question 2, we talked about Jason's character. It is about him being a hero, and the dichotomy is that he's not behaving particularly in a heroic manner in the play. He is all talk, no action, and the word for that is full of rhetoric. Remember how we discussed rhetoric before? So you're focusing on that in your answer. Question 3, what message can ancient Greek audience be expected to take? And is there a moral for them and how they're forced to acknowledge it? So talk about how they see themselves as the height of civilization and democracy. They see themselves as the perfect society, as actually encompassing Sophrosyne. And they were forced to acknowledge that they weren't necessarily full of any of that, or they weren't very good at it, with the fact that Medea got away with the murder of her children. Okay, that forces them to acknowledge this because she's a demigod and the normal rules of society weren't adhered to in this play. Okay, so that is important for you to take that on board. Yes? Yeah?
With 1C, like just going back.
Yeah?
What is it? I don't know what it means.
So, let me just go back to... Use at least 2 events to make comments. So think about the events he's used. So you think of the comments he's making about society and how he's used events. So you could definitely talk about the children being killed. You can talk about maybe Aegeus making the oaths and fulfilling them. It's just you pick basically an event and see if that's showing that message to the ancient Greeks.
So what message?
That they aren't as democratic, aren't as civilized as they thought they were. Don't forget for question 1 and for question 3, there were other playwrights, and in particular their plays were showing what they thought was the perfect society. They never showed real life in their plays. This play by Euripides was as close to real life as they were going to get. He actually showed what really happened to people as opposed to this perfect ideal. And so forcing them to face what was really happening was what occurred in this particular play as well. All right, identify 3 instances where Euripides has conveyed the times he lived in and how he's critiqued these times. So you're basically thinking of when characters are saying or doing something that shows their particular time and their way of living. So one event that comes to mind could be when the chorus is talking to Medea outside the home and saying, yes, marriage sucks really. If you get a good husband, you're lucky. If you get a bad husband, you're not lucky. You're stuck with him. You can't do anything about it. That whole discussion about husbands and marriage. So you could talk about how Euripides is saying that these women are expected to behave in certain ways, but they're not getting any benefits out of it. And that's what he's showing about that particular time. You might like to pick the event where the princess is being married to by Creon to Jason. Okay, and you might then talk about the level of arrogance shown by royalty or people who are living in a higher level of society. Okay, so it's about that arrogance that's there. So you were saying how women in this particular time are expected to be in the home and quiet. And so that was why Medea was concerned that her neighbours, the Corinthian women, weren't going to like her because she hadn't been outside making friends with them. But the expectation is that they're not out there doing that much anyway. So outside the home is the male domain, inside the home is the female domain. Okay? But Medea came outside the home quite often. And she was talking outside the home, she was making decisions outside the home. This was not expected for a woman to be doing those particular things. She was also making a lot of oaths, and oaths are not made by women, they are made by men, but in plays they're often made by women to make critiques. All right, question 5, you pick one monologue. So it's one character talking. They're not having a discussion back and forth with anybody, so you can't say, I'm going to pick Medea when she's talking to Aegeus. That's a dialogue, that's a discussion back and forth. So you pick a time when there's just one character. Maybe when Medea is having that argument with herself. Should I kill my children or shouldn't I? What should I do? Yes, I have to. Is it my passion? Is it my reason? I'm not sure. You could pick that one. You could pick the time when the nurse is talking. And you're answering those questions. Who's the speaker? Who's being spoken to? Who's being addressed? What are we learning from it? What's functions? There's those questions there. Question 6, The religious beliefs. Who can tell me about those religious beliefs? So have a think. What do they believe in? Who are they praying to? Who are they making statements to? What are the gods? So not God as in who we have now, but their gods, Zeus, etc. There was a bunch of them. They thought they were in charge of lots of different things. As far as they were concerned, the gods tried to control the chaos of the world. But sometimes the gods let the chaos occur for their own gain. How is this belief manipulated by Euripides? So this is a little bit like question 1c and 3 again, where it's about those messages. So he's discussing, hey, you think this is what's really happening? I'm going to remind you that this is what's happening. They thought they could control everything with their laws. Can they control the gods with their laws? No. And so he's mentioning that. You think you're so good, but at any time the gods can come in and take it all away from you and do whatever they like. That's what we saw at the end of the play with the Deus Ex Machina. All right, question 7. Identify at least 2 specific sections where the end result is foreshadowed. So the end result is death of children. Find some quotes that really show you, yeah, this is happening. The kids are going to be killed by their mother. It's not that the kids are going to be killed just by someone, but they're going to be killed by their mother. How about anything where you think she might actually get away with it? She does actually say in one of her monologues, I'm going to kill my kids and then I'm going to ride off into the sunset. Okay, where is that quote? She somehow knew she was going to get away with this. Is that just her plan, or is that what she was hoping? So think about those events there. All right, question 8 is about oath making. Now, you all looked at oath making the other day. We looked at how women are not supposed to make oaths, but she is a woman. So she makes the oath. She's outside. She's not in the home. She's in the male domain. She was behaving like a male. She was taking control of things. When did these oaths take place and how were they used? Question 9. If you have this version of the play, I think it is on page 83. Page 83 of this version is when the children are having their dialogue. And they say, one of the children calls out, "Oh, help!" The chorus, "Do you hear it? Do you hear it?" The cry of the children, "Oh, you wretched, accursed woman." The first child, "Oh no, what can I do? Where can I escape my mother's hand?" Second child, "I don't know, brother, dearest brother, we are to die." The chorus, "Should I enter the house?" "Yes, I will save the children from slaughter." First child, "Yes, for heaven's sake, save us, we need your help." Second child, "Yes, we stand already in the shadow of the sword." Chorus, "Wretched woman, you make of right," and it goes on. And the children are calling for assistance. So that is question 9. The fact that the children have dialogue does not occur in other plays. The children do not speak to adults out of turn, and they do in this particular case. And so why is that important? Question 10. Who was the original audience? Who can tell me about the original audience? Who was in the audience?
Men.
Just men, Athenian men. You know about their beliefs. You know they were from Athens. They were there for the celebration of Dionysus. And that was the god they believed in. So they had the ultimate god Zeus. He had 2 sons, Apollo and Dionysus. Apollo was the god of sort of reason and order, and Dionysus is the god of chaos and celebration and sort of, just hedony, just going off. And so this was a celebration to Dionysus. So think about when they view the play and what they were actually looking at, about the amount of passion and chaos that was shown in the play, this particular play. So really just referring quite heavily to passion and chaos. Question 11. Explain how Medea subverts the expectations ancient Greeks held about the Deus Ex Machina. So that particular plot device is used to wrap up the story where it doesn't feel like it can get wrapped up properly. So how did it finish off the story? She got away with the murder. She flew away, yes, in the chariot. And that should never have happened. Should she have been there in that position? No. That is a position reserved for God. She was a demigod, but normally in their plays, people or characters don't get to sit in that position. They could be promised it, but if they're ever given it or it's promised, it's usually just in the dialogue or it's off stage. They never actually physically stand or sit in that position. So it was shocking that she was there, that she was given that particular place, and she was given that place to allow her to get away with the murder of her children. That is important. They expected her to be punished, and she wasn't punished. And the fact that she wasn't punished is what makes them question their reality. The last one that we're looking at today, how the ancient Greeks' views of the world impact the viewing of the play. How might they respond to the lack of justice? They would not have coped particularly well. They would have been wrestling with this. The dichotomy of, was she I can't call her bad now because she's a demigod. The God stepped in. The God said she was okay. The God said that what she did was justified. It shouldn't have been justified by the gods. And so it's really, really confusing for them. And they were angry about it. They didn't like how Euripides changed things. He changed the rules about how the tragedies worked and how he changed the fact that Medea killed the children. And so we know that they didn't particularly like this play that much because of those elements. Okay. I just want to remind you about, which is the question about the killing of the children? Number 9. Yes? So that dialogue, who are they speaking with and to? Each other and the chorus. So at the bottom of page 83 in my version, so it's about line 1280, so 1280, is where the chorus get to start saying things, and they also say there was someone else who killed their children before, but she was crazy. So this time, Medea's not crazy. She is rational. She's doing this on purpose. She's not been taken over by craziness. So this particular dialogue allows Medea's rational thoughts to be proven, that she is not overreacting with, she's not actually crazy, that she's doing this deliberately. And so we find that out on this page where there's the dialogue. That's why it's also important. Okay, so that's part of that question as well.